Listen. Short story long.
Welcome.
It could take your whole life.
Preach.
Develop clarity.
Second, patience.
If it scared you, you should probably do it.
Whatever you think you don't have, you have something else in its place.
Listen. Short story long.
Go, Woody, go.
Preach.
Listen.
Welcome.
All right, we're live. What's up, man?
What's good?
Thanks for coming in and
Dude, thanks for having me.
squeezing me into your busy rockstar. I'm guessing you have like a pretty rockstar schedule. No, is that just me? Am I wrong?
It's a little more calm these days, but I mean, when we get going, it's pretty rockstar, I guess you could say.
And is
when
it
we kick it up.
calm? Is it calm by design? Like, do you do that on purpose?
Yeah, man. There's kind of a tour season for us now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of been May through September or October, and kind of the rest of the months we're either kind of writing, recording, chilling.
Yeah.
You know, making sure we get that good family time and time to just kind of get away. I think it really helps you appreciate too, just kind of getting away from everything. You know, because I mean, grind, and then look back, celebrate, be motivated by what you've done, and
It's got to be important. I would just imagine that, like, sort of aging well as a rock star is difficult. Like, you have to do it on purpose, right?
I think so.
Because we've seen so many people that just run it. I'm sure in the beginning it's crazy and kind of out of your control, right? You're just riding the the hotness, and then if you don't like plan it and give yourself some downtime, you must just go insane, right?
I think so, man. I mean, yeah, we were playing, I mean, tons of shows, and it was awesome. But I mean, kind of needed that balance, man, of family and making sure we're staying, you know, being able to stay creative, not just being drained all the time. And you know, because our shows are, you know, pretty exhausting and a good time and a lot of sweat and a lot of energy. And you know, same thing when it comes to the studio and you know, writing, recording. It's just, you know, we want to be as present as we can, and I think that can be kind of exhausting as well when you're just creating and always trying to get to the next best line or next best melody or next best record, whatever it may be. But
Do you have like a certain place where you, like, do you only record in Florida, only record in Nashville? Do you do any of that stuff, or you're all over the place?
Kind of all over the place, man. I think that's what kind of makes it fun. We've done New York, we've done, I think, even Canada, we've done LA. I did something, and I did one time, Tyler already had done his vocal with Garth. We did a Friends in Low Places 25th anniversary, 25th anniversary kind of remake on it. I did my vocals in Bakersfield, which was pretty cool.
That's amazing.
But I've done them in my treehouse. I've got a little surf shop down in Florida. My wife and I do in the top bedroom floor. We renoed, and now it's like my little vocal booth and like creative spot. So that's anywhere amazing. Is clever, man. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I want to, you know, this is what I do here on this show. I want to understand how you became this country music superstar, rock star. You grew up in Florida?
Yeah, I grew up on the east coast of Florida, Ormond Beach.
What's Ormond Beach by? Like
Daytona Beach, basically. It's just north of it. It's right there. It's smaller. Daytona's great. Ormond's smaller, and I went to high school in Daytona. You kind of you don't really know you're in Daytona until you know you're in Daytona.
Yeah.
But it's amazing, man. A great place to grow up, and played baseball all through high school, all through college.
Yeah.
Picked up guitar when I was about 16. Kind of started tinkering around, took a couple lessons, and got involved in the youth group, kind of helping out, leading worship a little bit, not singing, just kind of playing.
Yeah.
And man, I just got kind of obsessed with just kind of playing along with different records and learning those songs and
what age
learning
was
the
that?
tabs, like 16, 17.
Got it. So when you were like a kid, do you have brothers and sisters?
I got an older sister, 5 years older, yeah.
So when you were like a kid, like running around, what did you have any like dream? Was it baseball? Like, what was your like earliest dream?
Yeah, baseball was my biggest dream. I was a left-handed pitcher, and you know, baseball was everything for me. Baseball and bass fishing were kind of my top things. I loved music. I was kind of scared of it because I didn't even know how to approach it. So I was more appreciative of just enjoying it.
Yeah.
Not really thinking I was going to be a music star.
Yeah.
Just enjoying it. Enjoying singing along with the radio and buying CDs, and you know, I was a fan, so I enjoyed it. But baseball and fishing were kind of my thing.
And what type of music were you listening to? Country? What type of music?
A lot of country. You know, Aerosmith. A lot of country though, man. And then I went to like a Christian phase there for a couple of years. Like I was like Christian music only, and I think that was cool. That's just kind of part of the journey.
Yeah.
And getting in, you know, trying different things. I went in the metal phase. I've kind of listened to it all.
Yeah.
Appreciate it all. I love it all. I think there's a time and place for every kind of music. I think that's a cool headspace to be in, to be just appreciative of all sorts of art forms and genres and the blending of them too, you know.
For sure. You guys do that well. What about did you ever get into any trouble? I know, like, you know, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in Florida. Yeah. Did you ever get wrapped up in any trouble and ever kind of almost get sidetracked? Or
Man, I was very fortunate, you know.
That's good.
I hadn't gotten in any trouble, knock on wood. But no, I just, you know, I was raised, I think, really, really well, and my mom and dad were in the picture and still alive today, and we have a great relationship. And I think, you know, I think they were a little tough on me, and I think that was great for me. I think I needed it.
Yeah.
I think, you know, Florida has had some issues with, you know, the pill epidemic, and I've lost some friends and some acquaintances from back in the day that we're really struggling with it, man. So
similar in Ohio,
you know,
where I'm from.
Is it that bad too?
Yeah, it's really bad. Have you ever seen the Florida Man challenge or whatever it is?
I have.
You have? It's incredible. We have
like something for every day, man. It's
so
wild.
Good.
No, but I love Florida, man. I'm thankful to call Florida home again, and my wife and I, we moved back there 2016. Still got our cabin in a little treehouse in Nashville, and go back there to not work out and be creative and things like that.
That's great. And then do you live like back around the same area where you grew up, or?
No, actually, we live in the Panhandle now. I grew up on the East Coast, but we live in Northwest Florida.
Got it. How come you chose over there?
Man, to be honest with you, my wife and I, we were looking back in my hometown, and I'd love to own a piece of dirt there one day. But you know, we kind of found our home and my wife and I's own place and our people in Grayton Beach, Florida, a really cool, funky little beach town, and felt like that's gonna be our future. And it felt like us, man. It wasn't like I was moving home to satisfy myself to have a piece of you know, what I grew up with, and it was just a lot at the time, and we just kind of followed our gut, and a house opened up, and man, it's just one of those things, you know, kind of creating our own family story, I guess, if you will, you know.
And then how far did you make it in baseball? You were pretty good, right?
Man, I was decent. You know, I was pretty good, but I never got drafted. I thought maybe my last year at Belmont in Nashville, I transferred. I started off at Florida State, redshirted my freshman year. Second year, didn't really get any playing time. Decided to transfer back home to Daytona State College and play there, give it a year and see kind of how I felt and see where I'd want to transfer to. But I knew my time at Florida State was over. I felt in my gut. I knew it. And that was really tough for me because Florida State, that was a dream situation, dream school. Grew up going to Florida State football games with my family. I mean, I would cry when I was really young when we would lose. I mean, it was like heavy. I was dream situation, and it didn't work out. So I learned a lot through that. It was really tough for me. I took it pretty emotional, you know. It was tough, but you know, the fighter inside of me. I grew up that next year. It was basically like a baseball boot camp at Daytona State College, and that forever changed the way I approach everything. Coach Tim Tuma was a huge influence on me. This kind of warrioristic lifestyle and mentality, and so that a year under him kind of totally changed my life. And in that time, I was engaged. I was 21 engaged, and close to getting married. And summer of 2000, I think 7. I think it was 7 or 6. She broke it off, and early in the summer. Was
that in between? Was that the summer between Florida State and Daytona?
That was the year after Daytona.
Year after. So you're crawling back.
So I didn't know where I was going to go play baseball. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was basically just about quitting my mind and was going to go open up a little church and be the worship leader there and get married and do that. And she broke it off, and the next day I just prayed, and I read a book called In a Pit with a Lion on a Snowy Day.
Yeah.
And I read it in one sitting, and I had a sad moment, and I was like, I'm moving to Nashville. And I had these, my dad had been getting these newsletters from Belmont University. Mm-hmm. He graduated from there way back in the day, and was getting, you know, letters about the baseball program, the music program. They had a songwriting major, music business. And so I just was like, I'm gonna dream crazy. This is kind of my moment. And I was like, I'm gonna call the baseball coach. And send them some tapes or, get them some references or anything like that. And they said they'd take me. And a couple months later, I was moving to Nashville.
Holy cow.
Yeah, man.
That might be the world's best breakup.
Dude.
You know what I'm saying?
I remember right after it happened, I called my parents, and I was living in Port Orange, which was like 20 minutes from their house in Ormond. And I go, I'm coming home to spend the night. And I got there, and they're just like, we all kind of started crying, and we just kind of got together as a family. And man, the next day it was a lot of sunshine, a lot of light, and a lot of positivity. And I kind of knew what needed to happen, man. It was absolutely crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, man. I literally look back, and I'm like, that's one of those moments when, like, you don't go try to fight and make that work, and it's just.
That's what I'm fascinated by.
Crazy.
Like when I think I had a little bit of instinct that I was interested in it when I started this podcast, but that exact moment is, as I've been doing this, what I've become so fascinated by is it's like the smallest things can cause these like monumental, like imagine if you were, and nothing against church, but imagine if you were just leading a worship service in Florida with your happy wife and that's just you, just BK.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
And not that everything,
that would be cool too.
I'm sure that would be cool, but now look at like turning, because I'm sure
But I never would have known what would it be like to move to Nashville. What if I, was in the Nashville scene and really was in the songwriting community and
it's just
took that chance.
To me, it's like the experience of life, right? It's like when you, not to get too deep about it, but like
let's get deep.
When you when you are old one day and telling stories to your grandkids, like you will have experienced life and what life has to offer, and be able to teach so much more and have so much better stories. Than that. And you might have been happy back in Florida, but like, damn it, man. And I'm sure that at the time, you were probably devastated.
Yeah, there was a moment there. It was tough.
Yeah.
And to also think, obviously, I believe in a higher power. I believe in God, and I believe the universe works in amazing ways. And all alongside of this, Tyler, Georgia half, my brother, he, 16, 17, was in Georgia, I didn't know this, was leading worship, starting to play guitar, starting to sing, starting to kind of write. Was in a little kind of hip hop kind of country group, whatever. I forget what they call themselves, but he ended up at Belmont. And so my first year at Belmont, I had a third-year writing class that I had to, they made me take there. I was like, cool, I'll take a third-year writing class, no problem.
Yeah.
His roommate, Jason O'Toole from Ohio, kind of got to know him a little bit, and we were kind of sharing songs and talking about music, and he was an artist as well and a singer, great writer, and he's like, my roommate's from Georgia, man. Y'all would get along. Y'all are kind of doing the same thing, but kind of different, and like y'all should definitely try to write and hang out.
Yeah.
And kind of met, and I was leading worship at this college thing at Belmont called Sunadia on like Wednesdays, I think. And Tyler came with a friend of his at the time. It came up after the service and introduced himself. That was the first time I kind of remember meeting him. And he's like, yo, I'm Jason O'Toole's roommate. Kind of hung out a little bit. I think maybe wrote one time. And I was so busy with baseball, man. It was a full-time job between trying to graduate and play baseball and try to do a little bit of music. So some time went by, and then I graduated 2009 in the spring, and he graduated 2009 in August, in like the end of the summer, I guess, there.
Yeah.
And we moved in together kind of late that summer, started hanging out all summer long, moved in together, called our house the Fun House, and man, it was all about making music, working any kind of job together that we could do. I mean, he was pimping out golf carts. I was putting up bathroom stalls, bathroom accessories. We were wash cars together, and man, we really built a brotherhood. I mean, we became brothers and best friends pretty much immediately.
Yeah.
And creatively, there was a magic in the room from the first couple songs we were writing. It was really easy, and it was like, hey, this guy speaks my language, and vice versa. You know, I think we were literally completing each other's sentences in the writer's room, and kind of just developed our own sound. And I thought he was a lot like somebody I grew up with, and yeah, man, it was just kind of one of those God things.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
One quick question, not to go too far back, but like, it's amazing to me how much you remember, and I can tell when you say it, and like credit that baseball coach with like instilling in you some sort of mindset that you didn't have previously, or maybe didn't focus on, and then kind of the way you said it is like, it seems like you've used it now throughout your career. And that's amazing to me too, where like, even though baseball didn't work out, it still kind of gave you that
I am forever grateful, man. I literally remember being 5 a.m. at the pool a couple times a week, and we'd have pool workouts, and like at the end, I mean, we'd do crazy workouts, and we'd all get in a line in the pool, and he'd drop a cinder block on. We'd have to be treading water, and the whole team, man, and you'd have to hold, tread water.
So you're doing Navy SEAL training.
I mean, dude, it was like Navy SEAL stuff. It was amazing, and I mean, it as much as it is physical, it's mental, man. And when you get back on the mound and you throw 3 balls in a row, and you're like, man, I'm about to freaking walk this guy. Your mindset's different. No, I'm gonna throw a freaking strike, and I'm gonna come back and get him to ground out, or I'm gonna strike his ass out. Furthermore, you know what? My voice is a little tired. I'm a little exhausted, but somebody needs some energy, and somebody wants to meet me, and somebody wants to. I need to go meet somebody. I need to go network for our brand, or you know, we've got to get some vocals last minute in, and we just got off the road, and we're all hoarse and tired or hungover. I mean, it's like I can get through anything now. I feel. So it's just one of those things, man. Just we went through a whole hell week of the first couple months there under Tim Tuma, man, and it was hell, and it was amazing, man. I mean, you're building a brotherhood. You're learning so much about yourself, and you take that with you. And no matter what kind of day you're having, I always go back and give that credit and be thankful for those times.
That's amazing. I just feel like one through line that I see in a lot of these stories is like, it's so important to do something outside of what your dream is or your job is or whatever that just challenges your mental ability to push through and accomplish a goal. You know what I mean? Like whether it's like, screw it, I'm going to sign up for a marathon and just see if I can do it, or a Tough Mudder, or whatever those things are. Like there's something about what you gain from knowing that you can put past that boundary when you think you're done that applies to so much other stuff.
I think it just creates new like belief patterns and new. It's like a whole new structure when you think that way. I did a half marathon like 2009 or 10 in Nashville, man. That was awesome. It was fun training for it, and it was fun doing it. And I did it like it was like an hour and 58 minutes. I was trying to get under 2 hours. I did it, and you ever had Zaxby's chicken?
No.
It's like a southern place.
No.
I went straight to Zaxby's after that. Man.
Just loaded up.
Crushed some chicken,
Do you do like, do you do a lot of little stuff like that, or just every now and then? Like marathon, or like things like testing yourself?
I don't know if I'd do that again. I kind of checked that one off my list, man. It was fun, but I don't know. I kind of random, man. I don't have too crazy of a routine. I was wondering if you're going to ask about like my daily routine. And there's a lot of things that I like to do and need to do throughout the day, but I kind of let them happen when they happen, man. That's kind of my favorite days. There's a lot of structure
artist,
in my
man. That's so good.
Right. There's so much structure in my life that I also need like a lot of. I grew up near the ocean. I love the woods, and I need that flow in my life that reminds me of both of those things that are very natural and organic experiences. You know.
Yeah, it's different. Like a lot of the people I interview on here are like, you know, business guys or whatever. I feel like even athletes have to have this like training regimen and food and all that shit. But I feel like I haven't interviewed a lot of like really successful artists, and I feel like when that is your thing, you also kind of have to, like, you can't be too structured. I don't feel like I'm not an artist, but I feel like a lot of artists, you need a little bit of that freedom. You know?
Like if I wake up early, I'm not like first thing, you know, I got to go get my workout in. I'm like, let me have some coffee, let out the dogs, let me get some Zen time, or let me listen to some mixes that just got turned in, or you know, a guy we're producing, he sent us some new songs, and let's listen to. Or just getting creative, or just, I don't know, just kind of letting the day develop, man. Or sometimes my favorite, you know, I kind of mentally know what I need to get done, but taking them as they come and understand how I feel, and man,
it's important. So when you were in Nashville and you met Tyler and you guys are now living together, doing odd jobs, would you say that was the first time that you really started to feel like maybe I'm going to be a superstar musician? Or were you feeling that before? Or like when did that fire start?
You know, I guess we kind of turned into a duo the fall of 2009. We were playing writers rounds at Hotel Indigo, this little bar in the hotel, and you know, as we were writing more and more and more, we were playing more of our songs and singing them together instead of here's a song I wrote, you know, 2 years ago before we met each other and before we moved to Nashville or whatever, and it was more of things were becoming current.
Yep.
And we had a couple friends that were kind of helping manage us, and we felt like it was too early to even have a manager, but they were very helpful and pretty instrumental early on to say, y'all need a name.
Yeah.
And so we were up late one night at the Funhouse just kind of going over things, and we both were talking about how we want to represent Florida and Georgia, and that would be cool to kind of meet somewhere in the middle. And Orange Peach started out kind of the creative process, kind of throwing paint on the wall, right? Just kind of no bad idea. No idea is a bad idea. It kind of every idea gets you somewhere to the end result.
For sure. And
so we ended up with Florida Georgia line that night, and
so good.
Just started taking it serious, man. Made a commitment to each other. We'd ride this thing out, and I really do believe that, from the moment we started writing, it was anointed, and the sound that we were, even though we might have not had a track going that day or a hit producer when we first got going, we knew what we were chasing, and we knew how we wanted to feel. We knew we wanted to be in arenas, stadiums. We knew we wanted to be kind of a larger than life sound, and then also be vulnerable and sing about love, sing about spirituality, and sing about things that are just real and things that we've gone through, things that we go through. And it takes a lot of albums to do that. A lot of people can you can judge somebody on one record, but man, it's tough to get to know somebody on just one record or even two, man. So
it's true. That's what I love about that story. It's like I feel like everyone has that moment. I probably had like 7 of them when I was a kid, where you come up with the plan. Not even a kid, but when I was younger, you come up with the plan and you say, this is what we're going to do. This is the space we're going to fill. This is how we're going to be different. You know what I mean? Yeah. And, a lot of those things don't end up working out. Your guys worked out, and you became like what I'm guessing is pretty close to what you described back in those days that you wanted to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that has to feel insane now, being in front of like an arena and like, holy shit, like we are what we hoped we would be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that carries through, just like, kind of being under my coach for that year, is just learning about the power of manifestation and literally watching it happen and taking that, being grateful, being thankful, and letting that motivate you to get to the next goal, whatever it may be, selling out a football stadium or, having selling the most tickets or whatever those goals may be. But if you set your goals, if you can envision them, like, I'm a big believer in you can do anything.
Yeah.
Literally with timing, the right team, and with great talent, I think you can chase anything down.
Yeah. It's so good too, because I also think a lot of young people, like, let's just say following your same path, a lot of young people, maybe baseball doesn't work out in college and they're just devastated and that's the end of it, right? When it's like, that wasn't even the thing for you. You know?
Yeah. There was, man, in a weird way, I mean, I would have totally done it for probably a year, but it would have messed up the whole plan, because me and Tyler wouldn't have had that immediate time from when I was done with baseball to collaborate and start this thing up. But I would have signed for a damn dip can and a bus ticket, honestly.
For sure.
To go try 1 year of minor league baseball just to see, just to see. But no, that wasn't in the cards. And I was kind of thankful, to be honest with you. I was low-key excited. I was like, because I'd been dreaming of the day where I'm not in the outfield, with my pitcher duties done and already got my workout in and my bullpen done, and I'm just sitting there shagging fly balls and kind of just thinking about writing songs and thinking about music. So it was kind of one of those things. It was time, and it was clear to me, and I kind of turned the page and next chapter. Very thankful for that time, and I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you guys come up with the name, you're doing your rounds, and can you kind of like, because I've been to Nashville a couple times, and I know that it's like music hub, especially country music hub, but when you're like coming up in that scene, what does that look like? Like you're doing little showcases or like?
Yeah, we were starting to, once we started Writers Rounds, after that, we started playing a couple little, we did like, I think I got on a small little benefit show at a place called probably the Rutledge, I think at the time. 12th and Porter was where our first couple full band shows were. A cool, small little bar. Awesome place, man. Just kind of cutting our teeth there, starting in the small room, then getting in the big room and selling tickets and doing the whole thing, man, and just kind of growing it, and having people video it and watching that back and kind of watching game film is what we would call it. And we kind of have done that all the way up and still do that here and there.
Yeah.
Making sure everything looks, sounds great, and is just quality. You know, you always want to be a student of the game, no matter what you're doing, I think, because you can always get better. Nobody's ever going to be perfect.
Yeah.
So always just trying to knock it out of the park every time.
Yeah. And then is it like at those showcases and stuff, is there A&Rs there, or like what are you kind of hoping happens?
Yeah. It took a while for like A&R, you know, I think probably to get there, but we connected with Seth England, who's one of our managers, and he was with Big Loud Shirt Publishing, and he was there pretty early on, and we signed with them, and you know, got on the road and got with a booking agent, Kevin Neal, and so we had booking, which was touring, which would get us on the road. We had Seth, our manager, and with our manager came kind of our production company, Big Loud, which came with our producer, Joey Moy, who's amazing. He's like massive producer. He's just probably got the best ear in Nashville. And he's a super cool dude, man. He's just amazing to hang out with and create with, and super collaborative, and one of our best friends, to be honest with you. He's just kind of a guru on all levels. He's fun to be around, and but yeah, just we got in the studio pretty quick, and Cruise was the first song we recorded with that team, and it was pretty quick after that, man. It was pretty crazy. We got on the Country Throwdown tour in summer 2012. We were the barbecue band. So we were in a church van pulling a barbecue trailer, and we played second in the day, and we would play, drink a little bit, kind of go get dropped off to go grocery shopping while everybody else is kind of playing their sets, go get everything. And at the end of the night, we'd cook for everybody hamburgers, hot dogs, and it was pretty much that every night. It was pretty simple, and pretty much hot dogs, hamburgers, sometimes like barbecue, and we'd do it up here and there. But we were the party band. We were the barbecue band, and we drove ourselves to the next place that whole summer. And that summer, you know, even though we were second on the ticket, you know, every single show there was more and more people there for us, and they were singing. We had released, I think, 5 songs, a little EP. And we were independent at this time, and things were growing. I remember calling my dad, you know, it was like middle of summer, and I was like, Dad, we sold 10,000 copies on iTunes of Cruise this week, and the next week it was like 12. Next week it was 16. The next week it was 24. The next week it was like 56. Things were growing. Labels were flying out to shows that summer on the tour, and
that's like pre-social media, right? Or right at the beginning?
Kind of right at the beginning.
So you guys weren't doing a lot. It was just the music went up. It was good.
We were doing, I think we were starting to do like YouTube videos. I think we called them Inside the Line.
Yeah.
So we put them up on YouTube, and those are pretty fun to rewatch.
Are they still up?
Yeah.
That's so good.
God bless America.
I'm going to watch some
Yeah,
of
we've
those.
done some dumb shit.
But it was genuinely just the music was good and was spreading, and more people were coming.
Yeah, man, it was just that summer, man. I'm super thankful. It, I think, fuels us to this day, looking back on that summer and just building it, man. Like, we kind of built it with a really small team. Me and Tyler started it by ourselves, and piece by piece, we've kind of assembled this thing, and you know, got it to a place where we were able to negotiate a really good record deal with Big Machine, and kind of had a bunch of different labels kind of fighting for us, which was crazy to us, and it happened pretty quick. Happened in a summer, to be honest with you. But a lot of groundwork, years of groundwork, years of writing, years of bonding, years of partying, years of becoming brothers, years of you know, trying to make money and trying to survive together, man. And building that foundation, I think, has helped us sculpt a great business, a great friendship, a great sound. You know,
so important.
Yeah.
And then what? So then you guys sign your record deal. Then just because I'm like sort of pretty unfamiliar with the process, like, is it like, oh my God, we just signed a record deal? we're big time now. And then you start working on a project that you're going to release through that label. Is that how it works? Or like, what did it feel like on your end?
Man, it felt amazing. I mean, I remember we got a decent little check.
Yeah.
And I paid off, I had like $12,000 worth of credit card debt on my personal card that was just paying for FGL gas and like clothes and, I mean, food and everything, man, just kind of surviving. So paid off that like the first day. But man, it was amazing. It literally went from you know, that summer playing shows and hoping that something might happen to music videos, more recording. I mean, more shows, meeting, you know, all radio teams and making friends, and a ton of dinners, a ton of networking. Man, just it felt amazing. I mean, it felt amazing. It still feels good. But I mean, it was just it was also new, and it was all just. I mean, you're meeting amazing people. You're getting to collaborate with Nelly, obviously the remix that happened.
He remixed Cruise.
Yeah.
And that sold like an insane amount of units, right?
Yeah. I think we're over. It's like over Diamond. It's 10 million.
That's amazing.
It's crazy, man.
So was it like once again? I'm painting it like a movie. So just correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I
but
love
like you sign this deal, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, Nelly, you got a session with Nelly next week?" And you're like, "What the fuck?"
We had at the time. It's changed since then, but we were under Republic Nashville, which was under Big Machine. So it was partners from New York and Nashville.
Yeah.
So the Republic side from Nashville, that's what Nelly was on, and Monty and Avery Littman, who are amazing guys. They're executives over there, and they're just super talented, got great ears, and they were like, "Yo, we need to do a remix. Got to do a remix." And we're like, "All right, we're open to it. We just got to, it's just got to be right. It's got to be, it's got to fit. It's got to be the right artist." And I think we went through a couple names, and I think some of them kind of fell through the cracks, or I don't really remember. But once we heard Nelly was interested, we said, "Chase that down." And we were on tour with Luke Bryan the day that mix came in. And man, it was just, I remember we were having people line up outside the bus, friends and people from Luke's camp, and, everybody coming up to listen 10 at a time to the mix over and over and over. And we kind of knew it was life-changing, and we hoped it would be. But at the end of the day, we thought it was cool, and we're like, you know what, if whatever happens, like, we'll always have this to at least ride around in our trucks to, to bump it, because we would do that back in the day and think it's cool. So, fortunately, a lot of people liked it and, felt connected to it, and it was fresh at the time. And Nelly's just an awesome guy, lots of energy, and he's become a brother to us and a mentor even. I mean, we've toured with him a bunch, been around him a lot, and he's just always full of positivity. Uncle Nelly.
He's great.
Yeah.
Did you have any trouble adjusting to like becoming known on that level? Like I remember even for us, like I moved out here from Ohio a year and a half later, all of a sudden you're filming this little thing and it turns into a hit MTV show, and like things just change. And I think for us it was, we had a great time. We had each other like to kind of keep the circle tight and strong, but there were all these new like rules that didn't exist, in Ohio. The things you had to look out for and whatever. Like, did you have any trouble with any of that, or did you have a pretty tight circle and you didn't have to worry about it?
I don't think I really had too much of a problem.
Yeah. It's just interesting because I feel like
I just think once you kind of get in the public eye, you just got to watch everything, man. I mean, everybody really, and just got to watch everything and just keep everybody accountable and go with your gut and just try to make the best decisions, man, whether you're hiring somebody or whatever it is.
I feel like it just sort of magnifies everything and everything about the type of person you are, right? Like we've seen a lot of people have a lot of trouble dealing with fame and that sort of stuff, but I feel like similar to what they say about like if you win the lottery or come up on a bunch of money, it just is going to magnify whatever those problems that you already have are. Or if you're a pretty solid person, I feel like, and you're surrounded by a good group, you can kind of navigate through it. But man, it just gets a little crazy.
Yeah, I think also, just setting aside time to whether it's get in the woods or be at the beach and just be by myself, just sometimes you can get overwhelmed with things, man, but it's all good things. It's all blessings, if probably don't want to be bugged when you're putting food in your mouth, I don't think anybody does, but man, I think it's cool to, if somebody notices me or my wife or me and Tyler are out like that, that's what built this is those people and our fans. So always show respect, and I'll always shake somebody's hand and try to take a picture if I'm not stuffing my mouth full of fried chicken or something.
I love it.
But,
and then what, like, because this is the other thing about you guys is even though, like, do you consider yourselves country artists?
Yeah.
Okay, because even though you consider yourselves country artists, you have this like very mainstream thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't listen to a lot of country. I don't know a lot of country artists unless they're super huge. You guys, to me, are like, like, yes, it's country influence, but it's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
very well known. Everyone knows who Florida Georgia Line is, I think. It's really crossed over into that area. Why do you think that's happened? Do you think that it's the type of music you make is enough to, whatever, is it the collaborations or like?
I don't know, man. I think we definitely, it's just a layered question, a good layered question. I think we've fallen under the country format for sure, but, all of our influences it's just kind of a, crock pot full of influences, man, just getting stirred up. And to us, it really comes down to just good quality hit songs, man. I mean, we'll pretty much jump on anything if it's a hit. If it's a hit, we connect with it.
Yeah.
It feels fresh and it feels real.
Yeah.
And our collaborator feels like it's gonna be an organic experience and fun, and we can do some shows together and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing, man. It's something really like, the only thing I can equate it to is that you guys just, your style, there's something about your style that's
See, that's my favorite thing. I think even maybe being more than just saying, hey, we're country artists, I think our favorite thing might be just, that's FGL.
Yeah.
You just kind of know when you hear us.
Yeah,
no
it is like that.
Where, maybe no matter what format it might be on, whether you're streaming or country radio or we're doing a collaboration that's on pop radio or whatever. I think it's just building a brand that's kind of a chameleon, man. And I think that's what makes us FGL. And man, just good, getting on good songs with good people is kind of our thing, man, is our favorite thing.
Yeah, I just feel like you found a very, very good niche. You know what I mean?
Appreciate that, man.
It's a good spot.
Thank you.
What do you think about this Lil Nas X song?
I love it.
Yeah.
I freaking blast it, dude.
What do you think,
And
as a country
and I
artist?
love that Billy Ray Cyrus is on it, man.
Yeah.
I don't think it could have been any more perfect. Like, I nailed it.
Nailed it.
Absolutely nailed it, man.
I
I
love
found
it.
that song months ago.
Yeah.
And I saw it on the country iTunes chart, and I sent it to our manager and a couple of friends. I go, y'all heard this? So I'm about to blow my speakers on this thing. It's a freaking hit.
Yeah.
And we just started kind of watching it go up in sales.
Yeah.
And that
It's
thing.
amazing. And it's funny because they took it off the Billboard country charts, but I feel like that was like the best thing that could have happened to him because the press that got.
Yeah.
Because I remember, no, I'm going to be honest. I didn't listen to it before that happened. I heard the
Really?
story about them taking it off the charts, and I'm like, oh, let me see what this is about. And because we do this other podcast where we just talk shit about the news and whatever's going on.
Yeah.
And I listened to it, and I'm like, damn, this is sick. And I'm like, the Billboard's a bunch of haters, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And then I feel like Billy Ray getting on it,
Yeah.
it
Dude.
just was perfectly executed.
It was perfectly played.
Yeah.
Well done. I don't know why anybody would not like that. I think that's just, I think that's how a lot of us grew up is wanting to hear stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And that just satisfies the ear and the heart, man. It feels good. It sounds good.
Yeah. It worked out. It worked out perfectly. I just wish or hope that he will embrace that sound.
Yeah.
Like kind of what I was saying about you guys. You found this niche where like it is country, but it's not at the same time, right? It's mainstream at the same time. However you want to. I don't like saying that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Where this is like rap, but so like sort of undeniably country influence. Like if he made a whole album of
Dude,
that shit, it would be the hottest thing ever.
I would love
I
that.
worry he's
Hopefully
not.
he calls us if he does.
Oh my God. I wish I knew him that I could try to make that connection
Man,
because
let's go.
I've heard him sample some other stuff on Instagram and it's like different. There's like rock reference and there's sort of like some emo stuff and like it doesn't sound like he's sticking to it. But anyway, just wanted to hear your
I
thoughts.
hope he sticks to it.
I know. I'm going to try to reach out to him and figure out a way to connect you guys.
Collab.
Because I would love for that to happen.
Heck yeah.
So what do you do now, right? Like now you're a certified, superstar act. What does it look like? We talked about it a little bit in the beginning, but I know that you're scheduling your time a little better, stuff like that. Like how do you continue to age well and to stay relevant while also staying sane and to not ride trends while also, you know what I mean? How do you do that?
Man, get busier. We've got our hands in a couple different things. My wife and I have a clothing line called Tribe Kelley, so we're pretty busy with that. My wife runs it; she's the CEO, and I help out with the men's and help out with some of the business and kind of both the visionaries of that. We have 2 brick and mortars, one in Nashville, one in Florida, and then obviously our online store is up as well.
Yeah.
Tyler and I have our restaurant in Nashville, FGL House. It's a 4-level, amazing place to hang out, drink, good food, party, dance, do it all.
Yep.
Promise you'll have a good time there. What else we got? Tyler and I are running our, we have a publishing company, Tree Vibes Music.
Yeah.
So we've got a bunch of songwriters that are absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're out on tour with us as well. When we start touring, we have basically a studio on wheels, a Tree Vibes bus.
Yeah.
So they'll ride alongside. We'll ride every day, continue to be creative. And then they go back to Nashville at the end of the weekend, right during the week. So things are always in motion. Things are staying creative. So that's really fun to kind of be. We have a great general manager, Leslie, strong, amazing woman, leading the pack from Nashville. But Tyler and I are very hands-on, from listening to songs that are turned in weekly, making notes, mentorship to we're actually, you know, I don't know if we're going to go with the Tree Vibes name, but we're going to kind of expand this into a little bit of a label.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Like, have you signed artists yet? Or
yeah, we've got Canaans Smith. He's had a couple hits, and we just recorded. We're co-producing and we're kind of part of his label. So
that's amazing.
Just excited to get some new music out for him, man. He cut 4 hits that we're jacked about, man. They sound great, and really, really think his voice and his music is just the best it's ever been, and it's really relatable. And I don't know, man. I think it just staying busy, and I was part of a equity acquisition with a beer company, Oyster City Brewing Company, out of Apalachicola, Florida.
That's great.
Back in January, so we're looking to grow and you know, hopefully sell that in a couple years for a bigger number. But man, I love staying creative in a lot of different things. I love the creative. I love the business.
Yeah.
I'm a big dreamer. Tyler is as well.
Yeah.
And we have a whiskey company as well. Old Champ Whiskey.
You definitely should have a whiskey company.
Absolutely.
Because whiskey's hot right now, and there's
We've
nobody
had that
better.
for a while, since like 2015, and but that continues to grow. And man, it's fun, kind of dabbling, and love real estate as well. I think that's fun. I think it's always interesting to kind of see. I love the architecture and the real estate, and sometimes that doesn't match up depending on the market. But,
for sure. But
yeah, man.
And then what about on the music side? Like, how do you guys do that at this point? Like, I know in the off season is when you kind of record. You're just always listening to ideas and songs, and maybe this could be something, maybe not, and maybe there's a feature here, maybe not. And like, how do you? I guess like at this point, I don't know if you feel it or not, but there's got to be a lot of pressure of what your next single is going to be. Is it going to perform? Is it going to whatever? Like, how do you make those type of decisions?
Well, we released our record in February, so anytime we release a record, I mean, we're kind of off to the races on the next one, to be honest with you. We're waiting to, you know, kind of the tour to start. I'm going to start writing a bunch every day. Tyler and I will write every day on the tour.
Got it.
Man, right now I think we're just looking at research from, you know, streaming and different tests that we'll run to kind of see what is going to be the next single. We want to know everything. We want to know all the information that we could possibly know to make that decision. And I think that's important, man. You want to know, what are people saying about this batch of songs that could possibly be the next single, and when is this song going to peak? What time of year? Is it going to be December? Is it going to be cold?
Yeah.
When would this potentially go to number 1, right? So it's all it's timing, it's trusting your team, but at the end of the day, I mean, you know, the way, you know, this business is shaped, and we've shaped it as, you know, Tyler and I kind of have final say, and everybody's always been on board with that. But it's not always our way or the highway. I think we're very collaborative, and, you know, I think a cool way to create is just keep pushing. You know, it doesn't always have to be my idea or Tyler's idea. It just has to be the best idea. Whatever gets everything to the best idea, I think that's what we're always chasing.
Yeah. You know it when you have it. When you listen to the song in the studio, blaring through those speakers, do you know?
Yeah.
Love that feeling. That's the one thing. When I was first coming up, like I was, you know, music producing was like my first thing that I thought I was going to do before I started Young and Reckless. And I've always had a dream of starting a label ever since, because that feeling of being in there and finishing something up and blaring it, and everyone in there like, oh shit. And I've never had like a real hit, dude, but man,
there's nothing like it, man. We wrote one back in January. That's on Canaan's EP, and we had us a day. We were at the Surf Shop studio, man, and weather was beautiful. Has a view of the Gulf.
Yeah.
And my buddy Bo, who's the CEO of Oyster City, he was around town, and he brought over a couple kegs of beer and bringing up different samples, and because we were like halfway done, and I was like, all right, this one's massive.
Yeah.
So we can have a good time today. Bring up the beer and like got a second verse, and once the second verse got done, we were kind of like, just turned into a magical day, man. We just kept adding to the track, walked to the beach, had a beer, just enjoying the creative, space, man. I don't know. I just think it's
there's nothing like
there's nothing like that. But just blasting it over and over and over. I mean, when you have one, I think it's like a golf shot. I think it, when you hit a good golf shot, or when I was a pitcher, I made strike somebody out on like a nasty curve or a good fastball that's 4-seam fastball, 2-seam that's moving. Yeah. And you just execute it perfectly. Yeah. It's the same feeling. I think it's the same thing. Yeah. But also, I mean, there's some that it doesn't have to go to radio. It doesn't have to win all these awards. I think it's still just knowing, no matter whatever happens or what accolades. Yeah. I think that's even cooler to take pride in. Just in the studio, in those moments, what you have. Doesn't matter what happens. Yeah. It's a hit. We gave it our best. Yeah. We feel it.
Do you have some of those? Do you have a couple records that you're like, that is like one of my favorites that just doesn't get the same shine? Or for the most part, has it kind of, the audience has agreed?
Trying to think about what song
it's good. If not yet, then that's good. Eventually there'll be one. There'll be that one that you're like, that one, the world didn't see what that one was, but I love that one.
I'm trying to think about what that would be. Might be our next single.
No, don't say that. Next single's gonna be a smash.
No, it's gonna be a big one. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I don't. It could be a slower song called Blessings, but we don't know yet. We don't know what we're gonna pick.
Well, my goal is that the next single after that is Florida Georgia Line featuring Lil Nas X.
Let's freaking go. God, that'd be amazing.
That'd be so good. What would you say as far as advice, right? If someone's listening to this, and I'm guessing like if they have any musical skill whatsoever, they're inspired right now because you sort of change course, beat the odds, this, that. Like, any advice for an artist coming up today? It's so noisy. The barriers of entry are lower than ever, almost non-existent. Lil Nas X, not to keep repeating the name, but blew up literally out of nowhere off of like TikTok memes, right? So anything's possible. Any advice to like a young...
I believe in self-power, man, and believing in yourself, and truly, don't be fearful. Go, I think if you have these crazy ideas and these crazy dreams and these song titles or this movie script idea, or if you're an athlete or whatever, you feel led to move to North Carolina and try out for the basketball team or whatever it may be. I think those ideas are God-given. I think they're from the universe. I think that's part of figuring out how to live life. And so nobody's gonna move you to Nashville but you. Nobody's gonna do anything for you. You've got to take the initiative, and you've got to go do it. Master your craft. Learn everything you can about songwriting. Learn all the songwriters that are on the charts. For when it comes to music. But I think just creating your own lane. I think being aware of other artists and being aware of what's hitting. But just chase your own sound, and be confident in it. And it's okay to hear no. No just gets you to the right yes. So,
it's dead on.
I really do believe in self-power, man. I think you just got to be confident. You can't be cocky. You got to be grateful. But just don't try to sound like anybody. Just use what God's given you to, everybody's unique, and I think it's great to look and watch podcasts and listen to different speakers, and I do that on the daily. But it's important to figure out what makes each individual unique and use that as your power. I think that's our those are our strengths. Is the quirks and the break of the voice, or the the whatever it may be. So go get that shit.
Yeah, that's good. It's funny, man. Like when I was about to move to LA, my greatest fear. This is why I love your story so much. My greatest fear was being the version of you that stayed in Florida and always wondered, what if I would have moved to Nashville?
Dude.
And like, now we get to talk to the version of you that moved to Nashville.
Yeah.
And my fear was always being the guy that grew old in his hometown thinking, man, I was really drawn to like whatever when I was young and I never did it. Wonder what would have happened. Bam, you would have been a superstar.
Man.
It's so good.
I'm very thankful, man. There's been a lot of great people, still a lot of great people on our team, and you know, Tyler and I are more excited than ever to hit our tour, and we're brothers for life, and we're stronger than ever, and just both in great places. He's got a second kid on the way with his wife Haley, and
amazing.
They're creating a gorgeous life. And my wife and I have 5 German Shepherds. And
I thought you were gonna say 5 kids. I was like, what?
Holy cow! You know, and so we're
amazing.
just kind of waiting on the kids for a while, if possible, and just working on these businesses and kind of having those as our babies. And
you got a lot going on.
Yeah, it's fun, man. Yeah, very thankful.
Here's my last 2. If you could prescribe anything to the whole world for 30 days, and they have to do it. So for 30 days consecutively, they have to do whatever you prescribe to them. What is it?
Man, they're going to have to hit that cookies gelato probably for 30 days straight.
That's good.
Man, that's what I'm saying.
Yep. Good.
Oh, yeah. I think that just kind of fixes everything.
Yeah, just relax.
Just a little.
Yeah, just calm down.
Just a little.
We need that right now.
You know?
Yeah. That's
a good medicine.
That's good. Last one. If we had a time machine here, which we don't yet, unfortunately, and you could go back to any time in your life of your choosing, and you could just tell yourself anything real quick, where would you go, and what would you say?
Wow.
Not to go, it's not to hit you with too heavy a one out of nowhere, but.
That's a damn good question. I don't know if I'd go back.
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean, there's maybe a breakup or two. I probably, even not the one I was engaged, that I, just probably took hard.
Yeah.
Sweet Virgo over here, Yeah. But probably just, hey, relax. Like, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
But honestly, man, I'm here now. I mean, I'm next to you, and I've got the wife of my dreams, and life is beautiful. And so, I don't know, man. I feel like I've enjoyed life every step of the way. I think there's been some hardships here and there, and you got to learn some way. So, I mean, that's all part of it, and just thankful, man. I don't think I wouldn't change it one thing, really. I mean, I'd just say, yeah, that's my answer.
There it is. I like it.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Listen, that was amazing. Thank you so much. Your whole energy and everything is so positive and so great, and I appreciate you coming with such a busy schedule to share that with everyone and giving us all of it. I can't thank you enough.
Dude, thanks for
and
having
thanks
me.
for listening, man.
I'll
I
do
know
it
you
anytime.
listen to the show every
big
now
fan,
and then.
Bro.
Thank you,
Keep
man.
killing it.
Thank you so much.
Proud of you, man.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah. Dude,
I'll see you in Nashville.
Guys, if you like that and you want to see more like it, as well as vlogs, other web series, and all the random stuff that I'm doing here on YouTube, don't forget to click that subscribe button. You won't regret it, I promise.